Good evening, I am Nisha Charles and I am your presenter for today. Thank you for joining us for SAT TV News. Among the major developments, the PM says government is making opportunities for its citizens. 2 men accused of 23 murders in Bahamas. Nigerian finance minister's mother freed by kidnappers. And in sports, only one match is scheduled for this weekend in the 2012-2013 Lime Premier Division competition. Details of these and other stories after the break. Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. Principal of the Dominica Grammar School, the DGS, Alicia Jajak, has reported improved discipline at the school. This comes following an end-of-term review of new structural measures introduced in September. In addition, the senior management team of the DGS met with senior education officials on Wednesday, December 12th, to discuss new management structures implemented at the start of 2012-2013 academic year to stem incidents of defiant behavior among students. Ms. Jajak says with the aid of 3 deputy principals, she had success in addressing antisocial behavior in the first term.
We have had a very peaceful and successful term from September to now. Our students are behaving very well. We've had very few incidents where we've had to punish. Suspensions have been reduced significantly, almost to non-existent, and we are trying different strategies and they seem to be working, and the reason for school is happening. There is more teaching and learning taking place at the Dominica Grammar School.
The DGS was segmented into a lower and upper school, a move Ms. Jajak says helped with the effective management of a student population of 827.
There is a supervision that is throughout the day by every member of staff, and the teachers are doing what they are supposed to be doing. Everyone is on task. The students probably have realized that there are more eyes on them, and of course they are behaving and doing what they are supposed to be doing. Also with the classes being monitored, the lessons being monitored, teachers are of course rising to the occasion, rising to the challenge of giving quality teaching to the students.
Ms. Jajak says she believes that results will show that the students are comfortable and that they are learning better because the environment is so much more peaceful and calm. She added that they will review what they are doing and try to improve at every stage, as it is continuous monitoring and improvement. We are not going to rest on our laurels after one term, she added. The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development also completed fencing of the entire perimeters of the DGS ground at an estimated cost of $66,888.60 in time for the start of the first term. Ms. Jajak says this has eliminated the problem of members of the public accessing the school grounds without permission. In more news, an official visit was paid by His Excellency Elliot Williams and other government officials to the Princess Margaret Hospital on Thursday, December 13, 2012. Among those with the President included Honorable Kenneth Daru, Honorable Julius Timothy, and Honorable Justina Charles. Along with the President's visit, the hospital held a ceremony to acknowledge its outstanding employees. Health Minister Oliver Julius Timothy brought his greetings to the staff and patients at the Princess Margaret Hospital.
We do not hear the good things that the hospital have done. All we hear are the criticisms. But we know, notwithstanding our shortcomings, we have done some excellent things at this hospital.
It was the President's first official visit to the hospital. He brought Christmas cheer to all those that were present. He says Christmas is one of the more positive experiences of our lives, and on December 13th, they all shared in the joy that it brings.
This is particularly so when we witness the gift exchanges, the sharing and caring that is demonstrated during the season. This is really a powerful indication that Christmas is something special. In many respects, I have had a special relationship with the hospital since I have been an inpatient here and a user of the diagnostic services.
He stated that the hospital has come a long way from when he was an inpatient there. He thanks the hospital for recognizing their outstanding staff, those who give dedicated service, and those recently retired.
You have in your hands the well-being of our nation. There will always be scope for improved levels of care. And as mentioned earlier, since I have been a beneficiary of your services, I am able to speak to the need for improvements in a number of areas. I am aware that there is also scope for greater accountability and for formally noting critical incidents so that medical staff, nursing, laboratory and others can use these events to improve the quality of service.
He wishes everyone a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2013. The Honorable Jusmus Timothy presented certificates to the retirees. Some of the retirees included Mr. Egbert Filbert, Mrs. Elise Louis, and Mr. Darius David. A healthy lifestyle is composed of a number of factors, of which diet and exercise are the most obvious. Learning to deal with stress, sleeping enough hours, not smoking and drinking responsibly are also part of the equation. This is the message that Sports Officer Mr. Godwin Dorset is trying to send out to the public. Mr. Dorset says that a healthy diet should provide the essential nutrients you need as well as the fuel for physical activity and daily functioning. He added that it is also important to be physically active.
It is important to be active physically because, for one, you need to be healthy for you to be able to perform. And if you are still, you become very slow, and you are not able to perform. Being athletic keeps you healthy, it makes you strong, and it also helps you to be more alert so that your thinking capacity improves. And what one is looking for really is that all of these criteria are present in there.
The sports officer says you should keep your body physically active because becoming fat or obese is extremely easy. However, losing the weight is the difficult part. Healthy eating can help to manage your weight and reduce your risk for a variety of chronic diseases. Mr. Dorset says most times obesity is inherited and other times it is caused due to laziness and stored up energy.
What would one have to do to reduce that weight? First of all, you will have to find activity, physical activity, and if based on your size and weight, you will need to start walking. Okay, important indices to check out. You need to know your weight. All right, your weight is very important. You want to know that before you start, so you can rate yourself in what you do. But then once you have to start walking, and you will have to maintain that walking for at least 45 minutes. And it has to be a pace that you can control.
Mr. Dorset says those that are already athletic and healthy and they wish to maintain this healthy lifestyle, they simply need to tone their body.
Get yourself get some more speed, get a little more active. You can go into more gymnastic exercises, things like doing push-ups, things like doing sit-ups, things like working on your abdominals, You may want to do a bit of running. If you will find that you're healthy, you want to do a bit running.
Leading a healthy lifestyle can do more than prevent disease. It can also help you have more energy and stamina, stay slim, be more alert, fight stress, and live a longer life.
They're American citizens in the United States now. As we speak, we're driving the streets of New York City, driving yellow cabs with PhD and master's degrees. You see it on television all the time, of stories of that nature. How many of us in America have lost our jobs as a result of the global crisis? How many jobs has the public service done away with as a result of the global crisis?
These were the words of Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit whilst he explains that the government has been making opportunities for its citizens, and one of the ways is through the creation of employment. Mr. Skerritt says there has been an increase in employment, especially as it relates to the areas of national security, healthcare, and education. He said that they cannot take one aspect of society to behold because one action has an impact on the other. He added that government has to set aside the improvement of some roads in Dominica to invest in sustainable projects. If this is not done, there will be an increase in the challenges Dominicans face.
And the more we have a taste of development, the more we want to see development. And that's a challenge which the Labour Party is being faced with, because we will all agree, notwithstanding our own political differences, that we have not seen the kind of investments in Dominican infrastructure and social development any other time in our history. To the point where many citizens are not able to leave, to be able to move with us at the appointed time. And it's only years later, when they're seeing the benefits of the actions of the government, then they say, yes, you know, it is right.
He said a perfect example of this is the West Coast Road, which received a lot of criticism before and during its rehabilitation. However, today no one can criticize since they all love it. He says whether they say what is behind closed doors or not, they know it is one of the best projects that government has carried out in this country.
Programs like the Yes We Care program that has to be sustained because there are senior citizens in this country who still require help because their children and grandchildren have abandoned them. And the state now has to come in to fill the void. Should I take a decision to end the Yes We Care program and leave over 265 of our senior citizens helpless and give this money to somebody else or to some other group? I hear people criticize, for example, the government assisting to bury a baby, a 7-month-old baby who died. The parents weren't able to have a decent burial for this child. And I'm saying, are we losing our humanitarian and Christian-like ideals because we want something and we're demanding something of the government and the people of Dominica?
Mr. Skerritt says he, along with his ministers, were appointed as disciples to help the people, and this is exactly what he is doing. He noted that there is unnecessary criticism and they will help once they see they can.
Or if a lady comes to me and says my child has a hole in her heart and if she doesn't get to the United States and needs $50,000 US, she's going to die, should I tell her, well, go home and pray that the good Lord will save you?
Mr. Skerritt is urging all citizens of Dominica to be nationalists so citizens can love this country and work towards nation building. Issues affecting the villagers of Castle Bruce will be on the front burner on Saturday, December 15th as a panel discussion titled Castle Bruce Let's Talk, a community conversation has been organized. Co-organizer of the panel discussion, which will be at the Castle Bruce Primary School from 5 p.m., Miss Marian Johnfin, says this came about as there is a need to get people back together. She said the community needs to be talking, working and cooperating with each other like they once were.
We know that a lot of people have migrated, and so that may have affected the spunk or the the spirit of those that are left behind. And you say maybe we can use this to our advantage, those of us that are there. So we come up with the idea to come and let's talk together. Let's see what are some of the concerns that are affecting us in the community, and let's find ways of solving and solving this kind of our problems. And from that, it is to move forward.
Ms. Johnfin says they held previous discussions which were successful, while stating that these discussions are neither political nor religious. It is open to all. She said discussions such as these are intended to strengthen the work of the village council and the parliamentary representative to make life easier for both parties. Ms. Johnfield also pointed out that these discussions are necessary in order for the community to find a place of togetherness. This will also encourage the villagers to work together for the good of their community.
Casa Bruce is a for me is one of the best local in Dominica in terms of landmass, in terms of space, in terms of location. I mean, there's so much land available. It is so much water, river, and we want people to get back into farming. Do it the best that you can do. So we are inviting people to come out. We are especially calling out our youth to come and give their opinion. Most times we talk about our youth and we talk like they don't understand and they are not there. And sometimes what is affecting our youth, and that is generally is based on we as adults, how we've pushed our youth away, what we've said about them, what the kind of speech we've spoken on our youth. And so, Maman Manger was in dans un fond glacé. So we want our youth to come and say, this is some of the things that you guys have been saying about us or telling us, and we think it's not right. However, we want to work together. We want to move together.
She said the young men especially need to attend this discussion to contribute their opinions and to learn what is going on in their community.
We had, as I said, we had the first meeting on the 17th of November. And as a result of that, we already seen fruits of that. Lazarus John Finn, who is a great musician, have lived in Canada and traveled the world with the greatest musician around the world. And he's making himself available to create a music academy. And you cannot ask for better than Lazarus John Finn. And so this is the first step. So we expect more and more to come out of that so Casa Bruce can come back. We intend to do great things for our community in the near future.
The co-organizer of the discussion says that it is her hope that there will be a spirit of unity, respect and positive attitudes where people will care and love each other. She hopes it will also instill a self-help attitude where people will go out and do things for themselves rather than waiting on the parliamentary representative or the government to do what they can do for themselves. Ms. Johnfin went on to highlight some of the plans the village has in store for 2013.
For Easter, we want to put on an Easter cantata or a production for Easter. We want to do some storytelling. We want to do some, not conversation, but a conference. Take it into another place, another level. So there are things that are in the pipeline once the new year is started. So this is not the first time or the last time you'll hear about Casa Bruce. We're doing things on a different level, along with the village council and with the PAL rep.
Ms. Johnfin wants the Casa Bruce villagers to become self-reliant and interdependent. As Christmas is fast approaching, one radio show host is calling on Dominicans to coexist for the season. Mr. Heston Charles, host of Sunday Praises, says that in the past, Dominicans have learned to live with each other. He says these days, especially this season, he has not seen that togetherness and he's hoping that things would change for the better.
Because the economy is not what it should be, not the most attractive one. You find people that are on the frustrated side. People always have a stress. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. These days people get angry so quickly. People are always on edge. You know, the days of being polite diminish. And so we really want to bring back the spirit of love, you know, that spirit of shaking hands and a little hug.
Mr. Charles senses that we are far apart, whether it be through politics or religion, and he wants us to come together for this season and for the new year. He wants Dominicans to begin the new year on the right track, because by doing that, we will see things changing in Dominica for the better.
If you understand the principle of the big tree and the creeper, the big tree does not say to the creeping plant that is creeping on it, get off me. You understand? And it survives, the creeping plant will stay on it and bear fruits on it. And some of us eat passion fruit, we eat all this, but the passion fruit have to get something to creep on. And it has to creep on. Some of us eat yam. The yam has to creep on a bigger tree for us to get the yam. But the fig plant that the yam would creep on would not complain.
He asked if plants can understand the principles of coexistence, then why can human beings not do the same? He gives an analogy of bigger plants, taking all the sunlight, and the plants who grow underneath those plants simply bend towards the sunlight. As Dominicans, he hopes that we can all learn, like those smaller plants, and bend to where we need to be, so we can achieve our goals instead of staying in our situations and complaining.
If the plants that have no intelligence, they don't have a brain in their head, but they understand that if they're being blocked, all they have to do is bend towards the sunlight, without having to make any confusion with the bigger tree that is blocking the sunlight. They bend. And so all these principles are there in nature for us to learn, you know, and so these are some of the things that I try to really bring out to people whenever I speak to them, to get people to understand. Fighting each other doesn't really help.
He says we are all made different to create balance, and we need to play our different roles well to have a harmonious country. He wishes everyone a joyous Christmas season. And in court news, James Anthony of Trafalgar pleaded guilty to having an offensive weapon in his possession on the 22nd of November 2012. However, the prosecution was not ready with the facts in the matter. The matter was adjourned to December 17, 2012 for facts and sentencing. In more news, Bernard St. John of Wesley pleaded guilty to theft. The incident occurred between July 31st and August 13, 2012 in Hatton Garden. He admitted to stealing one vehicle battery and 50 gallons of diesel from Emil Gadakan. Anthony's supervisor, Mr. Roger Henry, said during the time the incident happened, they were laying asphalt in the Hatton Garden area when he noticed the items missing from the storeroom. He made a report at the Marigot police station, and a search warrant was issued for Anthony's home on the 12th of August 2012. When the police came to search his home, they found nothing on the premises or in the yard. However, he did have a vehicle that was searched, and the battery was found inside. When police asked St. John about the battery, he said it belonged to his dad. When police asked St. John's father, Mr. Hiram St. John, he said that his son brought it there. The police did not believe St. John's story and arrested him on suspicion of theft. In court, St. John said that he was sorry for taking the battery and diesel and that it would not happen again. Magistrate Kanja George told the defendant that he had spoiled his reputation and his future by committing such acts. He was ordered to pay $750 in compensation by December 31, 2012, or spend 2 months in prison. He was also ordered to pay $1,500 by March 31, 2013, or 3 months in prison. The battery was restituted. Hiram St. George was charged with handling stolen goods on December 11, 2012. In the matter with Bernard St. John, when police returned to the house to search further, they noticed St. John walking away with 2 buckets of diesel. When they asked him what he was going to do with it, he said he was going to throw it away because he did not want the police to see it. But St. John denied handling the stolen diesel in court. He was granted bail in the sum of $3,000 with Mr. Richard Saint-Amie as shorty. The matter was adjourned to May 8, 2013 at Marigot. Kelvin George of Calabishi pleaded not guilty to theft. He allegedly stole 1,800 EC dollars, 82 US dollars, 150 euros, and a cutlass from Veronica George on December 11, 2012. Bail is open to him with proper surety. George was remanded in custody. The matter was adjourned to May 10, 2013 at Wesley. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
With the reality of Domlec majority shares being sold to a Barbados company, SAT TV took to the streets to see what patrons had to say about this, who also commented on the event that if there would be an increase in the electricity bills. This is what they had to say.
Personally, I think it's a very dumb idea to sell Domlec to a foreign company. Okay? No, it's pretty dumb. It's foolish. I mean, Dominica has so many companies that can afford to buy Domlec. They can come together in partnership and buy Domlec and run our vibes, man. No, trust me, I'm very disappointed. I
believe it's going to affect in terms of our employment in Dominica, because the people from Barbados, they're going to bring in their professionals from Barbados, which I believe that some of them are more highly trained in terms of the practical part of the work. Versus our guys here, most of the guys, they have gone to college. There are some engineers here that go to college, but they don't really have the practical experience. So I believe that because they have more equipment, I've been to Barbados on the training. I went to Barbados on the training at Light and Power, and they're very organized, this company. So I believe that it's going to affect us some way or another.
I think that if we had the majority shares, it would be better for Dominica, for one. And then I think also we have to, the government have to try to get more of the shares so that we can have more control over what they do for us, like like when it comes to raising the different rates and so of the light bills.
If the sale results in higher electricity bills, the country gonna be underwater because the country already, people are already suffering. It's like we're in a graveyard there, you know. The more we try to make something, nothing really work out for us, you know. I myself on the streets, if all you don't get, I don't get in it, you know. So it's best things reduce instead of jack up because, you know, we're suffering here, you know.
I think it's ridiculous because it shouldn't be sold to a foreign company, it should be left here. So the people here will earn the benefits and whatever profits it have, we would get it here to utilize other stuff in the country.
If at some point this results in the increase in electricity bills, how would this affect you as a consumer?
I think it would affect me very greatly because then you have to accommodate more funds towards that and then you have to leave something else out.
I think it's going to affect us in a big way because in terms of our economy in Dominica is not as big. Our population is very small to compare with Barbados. So I believe that this is not going to help us in any way.
I'm concerned whether or not this will result in a higher electricity bill for the consumers of electricity on this island. When we look at the present economic condition, everybody is trying to see how they can make ends meet, and a lot of people are under constraint in terms of their providing for their everyday need and so on. And for poor people in this country, we need to consider them in this situation.
If the electricity goes up higher than it already is, then I'll have to invest in a generator because we'll die. After all, man.
If Dominic comes to a higher cost, then most likely people will get disconnected. The economy not making enough money to support everybody, to give them the pay that they want to come back and pay Dominic. So seeing that they sell, I really don't know how everything going to come out. To me, how I see it is disconnection for half of their customers if it come higher.
The sale of Dominic to this foreign company was utter nonsense. At least they should have given the Dominican public first hand. You know what I'm saying?
If the Dominic bill, goes up, well, people will have to just make some serious adjustments, to their whole, finance, the whole financial, They have to buy, well, if you used to buy, $5 bread a day, you might have to cut down to $2 bread. You understand? But you know what? I think in positive. I believe, well, things gonna get better. You understand? I trust the Lord that things gonna get better in our country. All right? You see, right now, the God-fearing folks, so the followers of Christ, the believers need to come out and pray seriously. You understand? And when we pray, when we pray earnestly to the Lord, right, God going to hear our prayers and our cry, and He's going to come down and take good care of our country. He's going to take care of our country.
This is Larry Larrock reporting for SAT TV News.